Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today's topic for the occult family is inflexible. One of the things that is becoming pervasive in the occult community is being inflexible. Now, this basically is the child of dogma, and we've seen this with the religious community. We've also seen this with the African Center community and even the pagan community as well, which sometimes likes to stay away from the so-called left-hand path community, unfortunately. So we have to be proponents of evolution. I say that to say you can't throw the ideological baby out with the bathwater. This is something you should never do. And I want to talk about some examples and how to guard against this. Over the weekend, I had the chance to watch the old Shaw Brothers film, Executioners of Shaolin, which came out in 1977. And basically, it was a Shaolin warrior versus a warlock. And for people that don't know, warlock means not so much a male witch or sorcerer. If you read the complete works of witchcraft by Raymond Buckland, the term actually meant one who has went renegade from the oath that they have taken. That originally was the warlock. So that's what Pai Mei did. So Pai Mei was fighting this one warrior that wanted to avenge his master, Hong Se Quan. Now, Hong Se Quan got married and had a son, but one thing about Hong Se Quan is he was skilled in Tiger Kung Fu, but his wife was skilled in Crane. So he had made her a promise, and she had to go along with it. We won't learn each other's styles. That could have been the worst decision he ever made. And let me say why. Because every time he faced Pai Mei, he basically got put on his neck. And Pai Mei also was toying with him using psychological tactics like, oh, okay, well, you're not the bum you used to be. I mean, you pretty good, but you still ain't got nothing for me. And he washed him every time. And his wife had gave him a ominous prediction. She said, this time you face Pai Mei, you're not coming back home. And that came to pass because Pai Mei had got bored with it, and he basically like, look, this ends now. Let's not waste each other's time. And if he would have learned his wife's Kung Fu, he actually could have took him on. The son didn't make the same mistake. He had learned his mother's Kung Fu. And basically one thing about the Crane styles, at least in the movie, you have dynamic leg strength. Now, that's one example, is that you have to grow. You have to adapt. Even if you do become a perfectionist at one thing, you should always incorporate other techniques. This means whether it be martial arts, this means even living life and not being stuck in how it used to be. You can have a standard. You're supposed to have a standard, but certain things are going to make you evolve. That is the law, the number one principle in the universe. Polarity, evolution. But let's go on. There's another example. Sir Christopher Lee, who's known as a British actor who played in the Hammer movies in the 50s and the 60s, but most recently, he's known as Count Dooku. He gave a speech at Dublin College in 2011, and he said, practicing magic will lead to you to lose your mind and your soul. Now, it was reputed that he had at least 10,000 books, but he said, no, I had maybe 5. That can't be true, and here's why. You debated Anton LaVey. You pretty much held your own, and he was the so-called high priest of the Church of Satan. And Michael Aquino backed that up himself. And also, when you did a 1975 interview, Sir Christopher Lee talked about alchemy and voodoo and even juju. And he basically said all across the board, all that was black magic. It's not so much black magic. It's if the person's demented, magic will accentuate that. If a person is honorable, magic will accentuate that. That is just how it is. But let me read this passage from Lesson 7 from Donald Michael Craig's book, Modern Magic. This is page 257. And I quote, never do black magic. Never, ever, ever accept. You should never do black magic, not even accidentally. That's what I was taught in the first edition of Modern Magic. That's what I believe. That's what I've taught. However, as my understanding of karma or tikkun has evolved, my position on that has had to evolve too. As I described, karma is basically based on actions, not intent. It doesn't matter that the accident resulting in your harming someone else was unintended. You did it, you get the karma for it. It's that simple. Deal with it. Not necessarily, sometimes not getting involved in certain things, you can create a law of attraction. Like when Peter Parker could have stopped this thief and he didn't, thief went on to kill his Uncle Ben. The problem with karma is that it takes on a moralistic simplicity, and it's not as easy as that. So you have people that are inflexible and feel that karma's going to get you. Should you have discipline when you do your magic? Yes, you absolutely should. Especially because you can run amok on the astral plane, but you got to understand, simple and plain, when you just lock everything in a box, you're going to become the very thing that you detested. I am an occult terrorist. I'm not a spiritual pacifist. Never have been, never will be. I stay away from you. I don't bother you. Don't bother me. If you bother me, I will make sure you never bother anyone else. Mentor is not running for Jesus. Period and point blank. So I want people to be flexible, because in being flexible, you will get the best out of yourself and you will be blessed by the universe. So with that is your meat and potatoes sorcery for the day. I am the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.